what is it that brings you out here today?
The injustice, what's happening in Great Britain and England.
And which injustice would that be?
Well, everything was happening. Brexit, first thing. All the corruption, what is in Parliament at the moment.
Yeah.
The way they're treating the English people. 17.4 million people said we're leaving.
Yeah.
They just wiped it off the. They just wiped it away.
So this is a march not about a specific issue. It's in solidarity about injustice as a whole.
Yes.
So with this specific issue here, what is your argument that abortion is morally wrong?
Abortion is wrong because life begins at conception. Yeah, it's not just about a 3-week-old baby being born, or a 12-week-old baby, or a 9-week-old baby being aborted. It's about from conception. It's about the whole process, the barbaric way they go about doing it. It's legal murder.
Anti-abortion. What's your stance on that?
Well, I think every person should be able to decide it for himself, you know.
I think if we're talking about freedom of choice, people should have a choice, and actually the freedom of having an opinion about anti-abortion also has a right to exist.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly my point as well. Yeah.
So, say if there's a woman who's, I'm going to give you a hypothetical, see if I can push you off that point.
Yeah.
So if it's the day before the baby is born, and the woman says it's my choice, and they terminate the pregnancy, is that morally wrong?
Well, it very depends on the situation, but it's very late in the game. But I still think it's a choice of the woman, actually.
Yeah, I agree, and I think here there should be more. No, actually, I think at that point already it's more than just an opinion of a woman. It's also some kind of medical restrictions and things like that. But if it's like one day before the safety loop, then I think it's the right of a woman.
They're brought in the baby at 3 weeks old. The brain's developed.
Yeah.
The spinal cord is developed.
Yeah.
So the baby feels pain.
Sure.
6 more weeks after that, a baby, when light is near it, it shuns away from light. It can hear. It knows what's going on in its environment.
They're aware.
Yeah, they're aware.
And what would be your argument against someone saying to you, but it's my personal choice to get an abortion? What would be your argument against that?
What sort of circumstance?
So any circumstance?
It's abused.
No, just the sense that I want to do it. It's my choice.
But what about the baby's choice?
Yeah.
What about the little embryo, which will grow up to be you, me, and this lady standing here?
Absolutely. So you believe that a personal choice ends when there's a victim to our choice?
Exactly.
It's really, for me, like it's preventing more pain.
Yeah.
That's also why you have birth control. Killing a person because it's inconvenient. Like, I have a very inconvenient neighbor that I could just wipe out.
Yeah.
You know, that will be exactly the same. And if I would be annoyed by this interview, I'd be like, okay, fucker, you don't want to stop, and then, you know, that's just basically opening everybody to just kill everybody who wants to do.
Sure.
So it's completely different than abortion.
Killing can't. Convenience cannot justify killing a sentient being.
Yeah.
But it could justify me, say, chopping my grass.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between the grass and a human that makes that difference?
Grass doesn't have a willing to live.
Absolutely.
So consciousness indeed.
Yeah. So I'd like to take the sort of logic of this point and bring it somewhere else and see if you agree with this. So if we say that these unborn babies' lives matter because they're conscious, they're self-aware, the potential for their well-being in their life, could I switch that with say an animal? And could I say, well, this animal is aware, they feel pain, they want to live. Is it wrong for us to kill the animal as well?
To be truthful, I believe human beings have more rights than animals. I believe in God. I'm a Christian. Yeah. God said, animals. We have preference over animals.
We do. Dominion. Yeah.
So I'm against any sort of cruelty, but there is ways of making sure the animal doesn't suffer.
And could I say to you, there's ways of making sure the fetus doesn't suffer?
Which one?
So if we could hypothetically kill a baby without feeling pain?
No, it's still wrong.
Still wrong. That consciousness and that sentience that we have in the human, the differentiate between the plant. Do you think that consciousness exists in animals as well?
I think it does.
I think it does, yeah, but I just don't think that we are aware of it yet.
Do you think we're aware that say a dog, that they feel joy, they feel pain, they want to live? They avoid things that harm them?
I think every living creature does so, yeah, even a plant.
Well, it's hard to say about fish. I mean, we don't have a way to communicate with them, but like dogs, like anything that's bigger than a fish, I think we can safely say they feel joy and pain.
Yeah, and every living organism tries to live. Even a plant grows to the direction of the sun.
And if I have a dog here in front of me and I say I can kill this dog without feeling pain, is it still wrong?
No, it's wrong. It's still wrong.
And how about if it's a cow?
Still wrong. But we have to live, don't we?
Absolutely, we do.
You know,
But
not everyone's vegan.
do you think it's true that we need to consume animals, or is it as unnecessary as an abortion?
I believe yes.
It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
So how would we morally justify taking that life,
What?
the animal's life, if we don't need to?
If we don't need to,
Yeah.
no, I don't agree. If we don't need to, but we need to survive.
If animals possess those characteristics that give us moral value, should it be seen as morally wrong to kill an animal?
Well, I do eat meat, so if I kill an animal and it makes sense to do so, then I don't see a moral problem with it.
What do you mean by makes sense?
Well, I eat this animal, so I kill it so I can live.
Is our motivation for killing that animal to live, or is it for pleasure or enjoyment? Can we live without it?
Well, nowadays we could live without it. Yeah. So you could argue that it's morally wrong to kill just because you like the taste of a hamburger more than you like the taste of a plant. Yeah.
Do you think that getting sensory pleasure can be used as a justification to hurt animals?
I do it on a daily basis.
Could you hypothetically leave here today and be vegan and never hurt an animal again?
I don't know. It's a question, isn't it? We've got to really sit
It's a good question.
and think about it. Yeah.
And of course, you don't need to take my word for that. Let's say if you did your own research and you found out that you could be healthy without hurting animals and live a vegan life, would it then become a moral obligation not to kill animals in the same way you feel it's a moral obligation not to kill a fetus?
Then it comes to a human being's choice, doesn't it? The person's choice.
Yeah. So you think we should have the choice to kill animals? Because I kind of put the same argument onto you before, and you said but what about the fetus? So I could say to you, well, what about the animal? What's their choice?
But legally, they've got more rights in this world than the baby. That's another issue. That's another issue.
I actually don't feel healthy if I don't do it. People who were like millions of years before me did it, so why shouldn't I do it? And if a person would get lost in a forest and a wolf would eat it, no one would say, hey wolf, you actually shouldn't do it, go and be a vegetarian.
I mean, do you think that other animals like wolves, do they have the moral agency we have?
No, they don't. They also don't really have the option.
It's a survival
Absolutely,
mechanism.
Yeah.
And for us, would you say it's unnecessary?
A survival mechanism?
No, to kill animals for us in the Western world.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I was on farms a lot when I was a child. Like, I'm from a rural country in the Netherlands, so I've seen it happen, and I was okay with it.
Did you feel any empathy?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And the thing is, like vegans and vegetarians, they walk like the moral high ground towards me.
More and more people are coming around to the way of thinking, no, there's another way. There's got to be another way.
Another way in terms of killing animals?
Yes, yeah.
What would be the ideal way then for you?
Well, I don't know really.
When you see those places with like millions of them, maybe not millions, but like hundreds of thousands of pigs, and they've been treated horribly, I think that's more important than the way they die. Because that's how they live.
I think I actually
For me
agree.
personally.
I think I agree because when you look at all these very cruel videos of what's actually going on in all these animal farms or whatever it's called, the most horrible things actually happen while they're still alive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I almost can argue that for them, like, end of that life is almost the best part of that life.
So then I've got two animals in front of you. One's been factory farmed, terrible life. One of them's really happy. Would you say it's more ethical to kill a happy one because they've had a good life first?
I don't think there is any difference, to be honest. I still don't.
So would they both be morally wrong to be killed?
Like,
The both will be morally, morally wrong, but the one that's had a happy life, I can live with.
You can live with it, but the animal can't. Do you think there is any moral justification we can use for killing an animal at all? Or is it immoral if we don't need to?
It is a subject that I'd rather not say at the moment, but because I've always eaten meat.
Yeah, it's something that we grow up doing, it becomes a habit. If we go back hundreds of years where slavery was legal, people will have said, well, this has always happened, this is just normal, but it was still wrong, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to see that injustice when we're living in the time of injustice, because we're indoctrinated into believing that these lives don't matter. In the same way you can be indoctrinated into believing these fetuses don't matter, right? So, I mean, let's put it this way, if there was an animal in front of you and you had to kill them yourself in order to eat their body.
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
I couldn't. It's much more convenient than to go down to Tesco's and buy it for meat.
Sure.
I don't look on that as a pig or a lamb. I just see it as a bit of meat. But as you say, if I had to go out and shoot that and cut it up and I couldn't do it.
Do you think it's an injustice in the same vein as all the people here are here for their injustices? Do you think what's happening to animals is an injustice as well?
Yes, I would say that, yes. Yeah. There are other alternatives now.
Yeah, exactly. If you could live a life where you're harming humans, harming animals, or harming neither, which would be more in line with who you are?
Well, right now I would be saying harming animals, because it would be a little bit hypocrite to say neither, because then I would have to be a vegan. My uncle was a farmer and he said, you know what, this cow had like a good life. If we don't kill it, it would die in probably 4 or 5 years, but it would not be the happiest cow. You know, it would get sick, it would get this, and then actually it would be unfit for consumption. If we kill it now, it will be very tasty.
There's a human over here who's going to be really ill in the next 10 years, so I slit her throat.
Well, that still would be their own choice.
but that person has a say in it.
At least has a say in it, yeah.
I shouldn't take control of their life and their body.
No.
So should I take control of a pig's body?
Well, yeah. That's what I do. Yeah. But it's morally wrong. I accept.
It's morally wrong.
We just choose not to think about it.
Sure, absolutely, and that's the easiest thing to do, I think. You know?
I think about it. I'm aware that I'm doing stuff that is morally wrong on a daily basis.
If you're saying you feel it's morally wrong, are you contradicting your own morals and values when you buy the product?
Yeah.
The programme on TV, they opened the door and the big warehouse and all these chickens were just in there. The noise and everything, they were living in their own mess.
Absolutely.
They couldn't move, they had the beaks. But I turned it over and I thought afterwards, it's terrible. But did I do anything about it?
And it's the same thing with this. If I don't expose myself to this, and I don't think about it, I'd never have to do anything about it. Absolutely. Are you contradicting your own morals, even if you were unaware at the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like milk.
There's so much cruelty in that. Yeah.
They kill the bull.
Yes, the male. Yeah.
Calf, so we can have the milk.
Sure.
I still drink milk.
Do you think there are good alternatives to cow's milk?
Oh, there is now, isn't there? There is.
I'll leave you with one more question to think about, and that's if you could live a life where you're harming humans, harming animals, or harming neither, which would you rather choose, and which would be more in line with your own morals?
Not hurting any.
Do you think being vegan would be closer to that goal?
I think it will, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.